NCAA tournament 2021. We got the bracket out. We're going to talk about our Final Four predictions, some potential upsets, some sleepers, some players to watch. We're excited, people. So, boys, who wants to go with their first Final Four team or
I'll
first
start.
Final Four?
I'll start. And like I said, if you want in on the tournament bracket challenge, head over to at typical_Chicago on Twitter and the Facebook page. Just type in typical Chicago fans. If you got any questions, shoot us a DM, but get them in before the end of Thursday. So I'll start. I've got Gonzaga, Florida State, Baylor, and Houston in my Final Four.
I actually haven't done a bracket, so I'm just going to kind of look on here. I'm going to go Illinois. This is just top of the dome here.
Great preparation, Big Z.
I'll go. I'll start with mine while Big Z's perusing. I have 2 years, Boomy. I have Gonzaga and Florida State both. I think Florida State can win it. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the makeup of that team, and we've talked about it a lot. I think I don't know. I want to speak for Zach, but I know Boomy and I are both big Leonard Hamilton fans too, and what he just continually does for that program. And they're very, very tough and very tough-minded team, and got a lot of talent. On the other side, I actually do have Illinois, and I also have Arkansas.
Ooh, I like that. They're playing very good basketball.
I think as much as anything, it's a draw for them. I'm not a big believer in Arkansas per se, I guess, but I do think Carolina is a very, very tough matchup for Baylor, and I do have Carolina going for the upset in that one.
I thought about that one quite a bit because Carolina's playing pretty well right now.
They're just they're big, and Baylor is not going to get the rebound advantage that they're so accustomed to. It seems like, and it's one of those spots where I think Roy Williams is such a good coach, and sometimes has a way of kind of getting the most out of his teams occasionally when they shouldn't, when he gets a lot of crap, and I think rightfully so sometimes that they don't show up at times. But yeah, I think Carolina, I don't think they've got enough juice to get to the Final Four though. So I do have them losing to Arkansas, them upsetting Ohio State. I guess I shouldn't say upsetting, but
blowing their load against Baylor.
Yeah, it's like you win that one, and then I have them. I think they could beat Purdue as well. So
yeah, the Purdue's a very intriguing team because
Winthrop's just throwing that out there. Or Winthrop.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I got a good team.
Ohio State, Illinois. I want to go with you guys with Florida State. I like Alabama though. I like Alabama.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
And then I got Gonzaga. I think it's just their year to make a run. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but they are good. But I also, who was I was looking at in there? Virginia. I think they've had some COVID problems, and I think that they could maybe make a little run there.
All right, let's start with that because we'll go into our upsets. I have Virginia losing in the first round to Ohio.
That could also happen too. Honestly.
I love Ohio.
Virginia
I played them like crazy last in the conference.
Yes, they played so well this weekend against a great. I think they went through Buffalo and Akron.
Akron,
yep. A lot.
Semis
those are
in the
two
finals.
Very good teams. And the rumor is that Virginia is not traveling to Indy right away. That they're waiting and then traveling. So that's the rumor. I also just think Virginia is wildly inconsistent this year. I like Virginia, but I love Ohio. Another one I'll throw out there: UC Santa Barbara and Creighton in that 5-12 game.
I was going to say that. I think Creighton could get beat there.
I think so too.
I just don't. I mean, they won their conference tournament, but like I don't know. I don't really
in a bad Big East, and UCSB I think has one loss all year.
I think it's a tough 5-12 matchup for them.
Yeah, I think that's like the side of the bracket of upsets.
Can I ask you guys a question before we get into anything else? Do you think they set up Illinois and Loyola to possibly play each other in the second round because they want some more
Yes.
eyes on this thing?
Of course. Of
100%.
course.
Okay, I'm just asking because
They
right.
want Chicago TV money, buddy. That's what they want.
Yeah. You got to remember how much
Instead of
money
having-
the NCAA claims they
instead of
lost
them
last
have
year.
to win 3 or 4 to play each other. They both just have to win 1.
Correct.
And I mean,
Now-
Loyola set up pretty nicely against. I know Georgia Tech, pretty good team, but I think Loyola was. They say they would. Do you think Loyola was misseeded?
No, I think they were properly seeded.
I do want to say Loyola is not going to win in the first round, so I hate to burst everyone's
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same.
hate to burst everyone's logo bubble, but that Georgia Tech team is scorching hot right now. So
Now, some of the other matchups before we move down out of the West region, possible upsets. I'll just throw a couple out there. The winner of Wichita Drake gets USC, who has Evan Mobley, who is arguably a top 5 NBA pick. Do either of those teams stand a chance against that USC team?
No. USC is very good.
They have been a little,
Also,
but they're starting to put it get together right now.
I
mean,
think
they didn't
Eastern Washington could have a chance
no chance.
against a COVID Kansas team.
Yeah, you're
Eastern Washington could definitely play with Kansas. They can score with anybody, dude. They if Kansas isn't hitting their shots, Eastern Washington will make that a game. I can promise you that. They can shoot.
No, I will ask before we move to the East region, do you guys think there's any possibility that we're going to see a 16-1 upset this year?
No, but I've got a 215 on the radar that I've got a keen interest in.
We'll get there. I just don't.
We don't need to leave the
very good.
We don't need to leave the West region for that game to watch out for, and that's Grand Canyon in Iowa.
Grand Canyon's fun to watch.
Grand Canyon has some. They got a couple dudes.
And you know who their coach is?
Talented. Yeah, it's Bryce Drew.
Yeah.
So he knows attorney magic, obviously, but no, that's a team that can score. They've got really good athletic players. They got this kid. I can't remember his name. Had dreadlocks, but he's about 6'7", ball handler, shooting outside, super like springy athlete, like one of those kind of wiry players. Really, really fun, really good talented player, dude. And I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but you'll notice him when you watch.
I can picture the kid. I watched him play Utah Valley last week.
Yes, and they've also got a big that can bang with Garza. Big dopey looking country boy.
Yes.
But he can bang with Garza, that's for sure.
Fellas, isn't it crazy that we were just robbed of this last year?
Yeah.
Sad to be honest with you. Let's move down to the East. Like we've all talked about, Florida State, is mine and Matt's pick out of there. But the big team that's in there that you'll probably recognize even if you don't watch much college basketball, Georgetown makes a very nice run, wins the Big East tournament. Do you think Georgetown's going to be able to keep it moving coming into the NCAA tournament? They get Colorado in a first-round matchup, who I think a lot of the public money is going to be on Georgetown because people recognize that name. People don't watch the Pac-12.
Yeah, I love Colorado.
I love Colorado.
I do too. I just don't. I mean, yes, they won the conference tournament and they played well
against Oregon State.
And Colorado's good. I think people might forget
Colorado's a very good team. I've
like
watched
you said,
a lot of them watching late night.
See the name Georgetown, and you think something else. And I'm not saying this team couldn't maybe do something, but Colorado is very good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
And the other one in that,
you guys think St. Bonaventure? We can get that.
I like St. Bonaventure.
Me too.
Not an easy first round draw. LSU's a good team. Obviously, it's the 8-9 matchup. That's a very close matchup. But we'll see if LSU playing in the SEC kind of helps them with the speed of the game.
That conference tournament championship there. That was awesome.
Yes, it was.
That was something that I love. No. I mean, Alabama. Wasn't it Alabama, LSU? That was awesome.
Insane.
That was awesome.
That was
very good game.
Are you guys buying any stock in the 11 seed in that region? Zach, you can cut me off if I'm going too in depth, but this is like my Christmas right now. So
good.
The 11 seed in there, Michigan State has to play in against UCLA. I think BYU is in for a hell of a game against Michigan State. They're putting it all together. They've gotten some big wins. Anybody like Michigan State to make a little mini run here?
Until they play Texas, because Texas is going to smoke the shit out of them.
But you don't want to see Izzo in March.
Absolutely, and I love Zach's pick of Alabama.
Do you want to see Shaka Smart with a team full of like 6'10" athletes that can just leap out of the gym?
It's still so weird he has hair.
Yeah.
Remember Shaka Smart's Havoc? Could you imagine him getting like these guys, this group of athletes to buy into that Havoc type defense? Where these guys are just they can leap out of the gym. It is nuts, dude.
Defensive.
Jericho Sims is ridiculous. Greg Brown, ridiculous, dude. These guys can just absolutely fly, and they're huge.
And not only that, I think they're also one of the teams when you talk about playing some of their best basketball at the right time of the year.
Yep. They're steaming hot too.
Really good Oklahoma State in the conference title. But let's move to the
sold.
You don't like Texas that much?
I just think I don't know. Maddie hypes up a lot there.
I think it's going to be them in Florida State in the Elite Eight.
I do too.
That way.
I like that.
I think it's a bad matchup for Bama. I think Bama's a really, really, really good team, and I think it's a bad fit for them. All Bama does is shoot. If they're not shooting against Texas's length, killed.
Somebody can get hot from three. Don't hate that at all. Sorry, I lost my place here. Come on, you stupid thing. Sorry, fellas. Game Matt brought up earlier down in the South region, we have Villanova the 5, Winthrop the 12. Winthrop has one loss this year. That one's going to be a big one where people are going to look at it as an upset. Do we really think that? And the biggest thing you got to remember here is Villanova's playing with like half of their starters.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a pretty big upset spot there.
Yeah,
agreed. I have I definitely have Winthrop. I think it's a patented 5-12 game against a Villanova who's probably a 5 only in name because they're Villanova personally. So.
And like Zach had picked Ohio State earlier, I like Ohio State there. Oral Roberts, good team in their own right, but then they get the winner of the Florida Virginia Tech matchup, and even as a Florida fan, I'll admit Florida's down. Florida's obviously their best player.
I know they made a great run here at the end, even without their best player, but I mean Virginia Tech, this could be a spot for an upset.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with you at all.
And really and truthfully, can we call a 7-10 an upset?
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, I understand maybe like a 5-12 or something like that's even like that's still an upset.
7-10 is not an upset.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like this. How close?
Well, this is like the epitome of what that game normally is it's a good team from an above average conference like Florida that slides in at a 7 seed, and then maybe an overachieving Virginia Tech was picked 11th to finish in there, so they're kind of like an overachieving team in a good conference. It's just I agree. I don't think it's as big of an upset as maybe the numbers would portray. Let's move to the Midwest.
I got a dad joke, though, in the South, too, for dentists. It's got to be the region of dentists when you get Colgate and Oral Roberts together.
I love it.
16.
I love it. I got an Oral Roberts joke, but I'm not going to say it on here.
Real quick. Can I get a little breakdown on your guys' opinion on that Wisconsin-Carolina game? I want to see what you guys think. And there's another upset. Another upset in the making, too, is Utah State is going to beat Texas Tech as well.
I don't hate that, but I do think
every game I've seen Mac McClung play, he's played like dog shit. I don't know where the hype comes from, and I know it's probably just me, and it's only the games I've seen, but every game I've watched that guy play, he is just like a loose cannon, just firing up shots that hit the side of the backboard and turning the ball over like crazy. I don't get it, but maybe it's just
that's definitely a very good possibility. Utah State is a good team. But I think on paper, North Carolina is the better team than Wisconsin. But it's really going to come down to this year, to me, is the 5th best team in the Big Ten better than the 3rd best team in the ACC? And I don't know. I have Carolina picked, but
It's a bad matchup for Carolina. I will say that.
That's kind of where I was at with it.
I think it should be a good game. That's what I think, and I'm
It's
so
going to be
excited
very,
for all
very
these
slow.
games. All right, boys. You said you were moving on to the Midwest.
Yep, we got the Midwest as our last division. Zach, what do you got?
We don't think Loyola's going to make it to the Illinois game, do we?
Georgia Tech's on fire.
I got a steaming hot Georgia Tech team, in my opinion.
I want them to play, though. I think it'd be awesome.
But I want to see it, but
I think Oregon State, boys. I'm not that impressed by Tennessee.
Neither am I.
And I agree, but to me, the Pac-12 is not that good. And Oregon State just got, like, Oregon State all year was bad. They were not a good basketball team. They get hot in the conference tournament. I don't think that they're going to compete with Tennessee. Do you think Syracuse can make a little run here? Because yes,
I hope
do.
Not. I just don't want them to.
I truly think they.
I think you're right, though. They snuck in, and I think they could somehow make a run.
Don't forget, San Diego State was a team that was like supposed to be like a legit, title contender last year, and they brought almost everybody back.
Yeah,
Morehead State might be the most exciting team to watch.
Who's that?
Morehead State.
Yes, it sucks. They have to play Huggy Bear, and it sucks for them because I'd like to see Morehead State just about against any other team. Except
that's one of those teams you're just excited to watch in the first round. Yes, they may not move on, but they're going to have some fun, and maybe they can make it interesting.
I think San Diego State. I want to go back to that game. I think they're going to absolutely bury Syracuse. I think Syracuse stinks.
We'll see.
It's Buddy Boeheim or nothing for that team. And I think San Diego State is every bit going to just smother that team defensively.
We'll see, because they come from a conference. I don't know. We'll see. Clemson, Rutgers. Rutgers haven't made it since 1986 or 7.
This should be like the Friday game at like 10:40. Or whatever it is, 11:20, whatever the first tip off in the Central Time is, 11:20. I think
it's on a Friday. I don't.
Just start that game and get it over with.
I think Illinois they play pretty early, right, on Friday?
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't looked at the times. Guys, I think Rutgers is going to win that game. I'm not convinced. I have Rutgers. And then I think
I really don't. I don't think, like I said, it may be an ugly game.
And I don't know if it's just because of the conference they play in. I don't think Houston gets enough recognition and just like the general public.
I think Houston's good.
Houston, and a lot of Illinois fans are going to hate me for this. I got Houston beating Illinois to get to the elite or to the Final Four.
That would be a good game.
I'm not a big fan of Houston, but they're a pretty solid team. I'll say that. The only team I think that really is a real threat to Illinois is no one that we've mentioned yet. And that's Oklahoma State. And another team that is very, very hot. And if Cade Cunningham plays like he is able to, he can absolutely carry a game against anybody.
They have so much firepower that they can shut one guy down.
I understand that. I just feel like Cade Cunningham is legit an NBA player right now playing in college basketball. And I think when you have that.
Yeah, I get that, but they also have like 2 on Illinois.
I mean, he is like ready to go make it like an impact on the NBA level at this moment is what I mean. And I think that kind of game, if you get that kind of game from him, who was it against?
Baylor.
Oh, it was it Baylor, and then he had what do you have against 40 against Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I mean, like if he has one of those games, dude, they could beat anybody. That's all I'm saying. I think Illinois will beat them. I have Illinois in the Final Four. I think Oklahoma State is the biggest threat to them in that region. For that reason,
I know I'm saying this, but talk about a team that's playing their best basketball. I mean, there was
like the Carmelo effect, dude. Like,
I mean, I guess
it'll be. I'm hoping we get that game because that could be one of the best of the tournament.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be a great game.
I feel like Oklahoma State could also be a team that relies on one player. If something happens, they could get knocked out early too.
They could. If he gets in foul trouble or something, yeah, definitely.
And I mean, let's not even. I mean, Liberty has
it's a dangerous team. It's a dangerous team.
Yeah, it's not like they're just going to lay down. I mean, that's a little bit of extra blood in the water for a team like that. That I mean, I think they've made like 2 of the last 3 or 3 of the last 4 tournaments, they're not just going to lay down for Cade Cunningham. They're going to give him their best shot. And then even if you look at the next round, whether it's Tennessee or Oregon State, I mean, you're not talking about a super easy route, into the Elite Eight or Final Four, whatever you want to look at. Anybody have any surprisers that you got going deep that maybe no one else would really think of?
I have Ohio in the Sweet 16.
Yep, I did too. I have them beating UCSB, actually.
So do I.
I got Winthrop in the Sweet 16, but I'm not completely sold on that one yet.
I do not there. It's going to be very interesting. I think the lack of, well, I mean, there's going to be a minimal amount of fans or whatever it is, but the lack of like a presence of fans, I think, will make a difference. I think in some of those games where, the neutral crowd, they side with the underdog in those first couple round games, and it really starts building like a home vibe for teams that are, playing against one of the big dogs. It can have an impact, in my opinion.
It's not a crazy pick, but I think USC could really make a run.
I agree.
I think they are very good. All around, very good.
It's the same thing as like Cunningham. Mobley is that kind of talent.
Yes.
Right? It's like when you have one of those freak talents that just can literally be the best player on the floor, it's hard to beat that. No matter what you have.
They just know where they're all going to be at. I mean, they're just very good. I've watched a lot
of
late night
very
USC.
athletic, and I think Enfield's a good coach too.
I agree. If you had to pick, looking at your bracket, one team that like you were given, $50 for free to put on to win the title, that isn't maybe like a top 1 or 2 seed, so 3, or let's just even say a top 4 seed, to make it to the championship game. Do you guys have anybody in mind that you would take?
Really,
I have a future.
I really do like USC to win it. I'm not saying
I think that's
great.
I think that's a fantastic ticket to buy, Zach. I honestly agree with you. I honestly think
we're saying with let's say Kansas beats Eastern Michigan. I mean USC
Eastern Washington.
They
could definitely beat Eastern Washington. Definitely beat Kansas.
And
Kansas might not even be there. It might even be Louisville who they're playing.
USC could beat either team. You know what I mean? And then
Agreed.
I mean I think it's just they have a good route there, and then you always catch Gonzaga there in like the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. Anything can happen.
I think Iowa's very beatable. Garza has problems when he's going against other good bigs. He gets, and Mobley could give Garza fits, dude.
We watched the other night when they beat Wisconsin. I mean, they couldn't make a 3-pointer.
No,
right.
For 20.
Yeah. No, is there a bigger, I don't know. Are you guys Iowa fans?
No.
Is there a bigger douchebag than Fran McCaffrey? Like,
he's got an extension.
God, dude. He's just such an asshole. I don't know why. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm a big fan. I mean, I don't.
Morehead State make like a Cinderella story, but I just don't know if they can get past West Virginia.
I kind of wish Abilene Christian didn't get stuck with Texas too, because I think Abilene Christian's another team that would be really fun to watch.
Well, I think that Winthrop can make a deep run.
North Texas could be a problem too.
Yeah,
like Florida State too.
Like who?
I love Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah,
I have a future on Florida State. I did buy that. Was one of the one I bought in like February, I think.
You know how amazing how just fun it is to talk about all this.
Yeah, it's like you got to make up for an extra year's worth of losing it. So,
100%.
Even though it's a little different this year, it starts Friday. The first round is
Friday to Monday.
Games are Thursday.
Correct.
So there'll be
all like in the Indianapolis metro area.
There's 4 games on Thursday, so that's awesome.
I think Carolina plays at Mackey at Purdue. I think that's where their game is.
We'll probably do one more morning show either Wednesday or Thursday night. We'll record it and maybe talk a little bit more about this. But, I mean, we just went through all 4 sides of the bracket. We talked about our favorites, who we think some upsets. But let us know if you got any upsets, who your Final Four is. Like you said, Boomy, the ESPN Tournament Challenge. The group is TCF. Join the group. It's $10 to join. First place gets
Third place gets their money back. Second place, $20. So you get your money back and then double what you paid on your entry, basically. And then first place is going to take the rest. So if we have 20 people, the winner's going to take home 170. So whatever we get, basically take that times 10 minus $30 for second and third, and then the winner is going to take the rest. So Venmo, Cash App, Pay, all options.
Yeah, it's awesome too because it keeps track of it for you. We don't have to worry about anything.
And max of 3 entries. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier.
Yep. So up to $30 you spend on it. I mean, you think about some of the
program. Nick Gons already has 3 brackets in, and he's going to lose all of them. So
I could have called that.
And I bet he has Illinois winning in at least 2 of them.
I got it. I can't wait to see the brackets because you can't actually see anyone else's brackets until Friday.
Yeah,
so
until the first game.
But like I said, keep joining. Then hit up Boomy to get him paid somehow. It's $10. So let's have some fun with that.